Part 11. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 101. Chapter 101. Anyway, it's impossible for me to be a John Lully. In ordinary small restaurants, cooked dishes cannot be returned. How much more so in a place like this? She is now more certain that Bai Xiao and Zhang Yue did it on purpose. It's just that she couldn't understand what they were thinking. Qiao Mian didn't offend them in any way, and they had never had any problems with each other before. How come it suddenly? Yes, in a very high-end place like this, the portions of the dishes are usually very small. We were also worried that everyone would not be full, so we ordered these dishes. Bai Xiao and Zhang Yue were obviously on the same side. Besides, didn't Mian just say that we should order whatever we want? She said this herself, and we didn't force her. If you think we ordered too much and are worried that you won't be able to pay for the meal later, don't make a fool of yourself. This sentence is a bit excessive. Zhang Luli frowned. Bai Xiao, what are you talking about? Mian invited us to dinner with good intentions. Has she done something wrong? Seeing that the atmosphere was getting tense, Qiao Mian was afraid that a quarrel would start and everyone would be unhappy, so she stretched out her hand and pulled off Zhang Luli's arm, winked at her and said, "Lulu, stop talking. I'm the one who said please when everyone goes out to eat. I hope everyone is happy and doesn't make a fuss over a meal. It's okay if we can't finish these dishes, we can pack them back for dinner later." Zhang Luli curled his lips and said, "I just think you are kindly inviting people to dinner, but they may not accept the favor." He Bai Xiao placed the cup in his hand on the table with a bang. She turned her head to look at Zhang Luli and sneered, "Zhang Luli, what do you mean?" Zhang Yue also frowned and said in a low tone, "No one is short of this meal. Zhang Luli, you don't need to say that we have eaten this meal as if we have received a lot of favors. If you think we deliberately took advantage of the opportunity, and this meal is the best for everyone." When Zhang Yue said this, she didn't really mean a. It's just that I know Qiao Mian and know that she can't let them fall in love, so I said this. If she really wants a, how can she afford it? Bai Xiao didn't know what she was thinking. He became anxious when he heard this. "Why do you want a?" It was Qiao Mian who said she wanted to treat us to dinner. She also picked the place. How can we be a in such an expensive place? Affordable. Anyway, it's impossible for me to be a. Bai Xiao was afraid that he would really want a, so he immediately said that he had no money. Are you kidding me? She would never have the money to pay for a. When she ordered the dishes just now, she saw clearly the prices of the dishes. Eating the entire table would cost at least 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. How could you do this? Zhang Luli was furious. What do you mean, no one is short of this meal? Mian is a kind-hearted person, but this is how you treat her? Zhang Yue, Bai Xiao, you are saying these things. It's too much. The atmosphere at the dinner table has become extremely stiff. At this time, Zhang Yue and Bai Xiao also realized that what they said was a bit excessive. However, once the words have been spoken, they cannot be taken back. The two of them thought that they had already offended someone anyway, so they simply didn't bother to maintain the superficial friendship. Bai Xiao then turned cold and said to Qiao Mian, "Qiao Mian, for today's meal, you know whether you just want to treat us in the same dormitory to a meal, or whether you have other purposes." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 102. Chapter 102. Who wants to envy you? Since everyone is making such a fuss, there is no need to eat this meal. Zhang Yue stood up and said in a cold voice, "Qiao Mian, Bai Xiao is right, we are not short of this meal. Today, they sent us a luxury car to pick us up, sent us luxury brand skincare products, and even arranged a place to eat in the banquet hall. Is it really just to treat us to a meal? Chiao Mian remained silent. It wasn't until he heard these words that he raised his eyes and looked at the two of them expressionlessly. There was no warmth in her eyes, there was no smile on her face, and her attitude was different from before. Oh? Really? Then what do you think is the reason why I treat you to this meal today? Jiang Yue met her cold gaze and was stunned. His brows furrowed even more tightly and his voice became colder. She sneered and said, "Do you have to let us say it? Don't you just want to show off to us your Chiao Mian charm? How old are you? Are all the men you date rich and handsome? Look, what if Suzy breaks up with you? You can find a better one right away. Are you very proud of yourself? Do you feel that you are infinitely charming? All the high-quality men in the world can do whatever you want. Pick. You give us some small favors because you want us to flatter you and support you, or do you want us to envy you for finding a handsome and rich boyfriend who is so generous to you?" "That's not true," Bai Xiao sneered coldly. "You make it so high profile, for fear that others won't know that you have found a rich man. No matter how good or outstanding the man you find is, what does it have to do with us? Ah! There are so many rich men in the world, who wants to envy you. The words you say to each other are as bitter as you want them to be. Unabashedly, the truest thoughts in the heart are exposed." Chiao Mian was surprised at first, and then looked at the undisguised jealousy in the two people's eyes. After understanding it, she only felt ironic and sad. Share the same dormitory for 3 years. Even if the relationship is not particularly good, we usually get along well with each other. She didn't expect that Mo Yesie's appearance would break the harmony and friendship that had been maintained in their dormitory for 3 years. He only showed up twice at school to make her roommates so hostile to her. It is said that women are a disaster. At this moment, Chiao Mian wanted to say, "Men like Mo Yesie are also a disaster." "Okay. You have gone too far." Zhang Luli's face was full of disbelief, and his face turned black with anger. "How can you maliciously speculate on Mian like this? She is not the kind of person you said at all. She found a rich man. What's wrong with your handsome boyfriend? If you're not convinced, you can go find one. Does this touch your heart? If you think she's showing off her superiority, that's because you're jealous. Mian, have you seen that? You treat people as friends, but they don't think so in their hearts. Zhang Luli and Chiao Mian's relationship is as good as that of biological sisters." Hearing them say this to Chiao Mian, it was as if she herself was being said, so she was naturally furious. At this moment, she deeply felt how terrible a woman's jealousy was. Bai Xiao and Zhang Yue usually look like they are peacefully enjoying their time. Who would have thought that their jealousy would be so strong? "Zhang Luli, you are so weird," Bai Xiao mocked. "You like to lick her, but we are different from you." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 103. Chapter 103. Don't bully others too much. You have been sisters for so many years, and each of the boyfriends she finds is better than the last. Has she introduced you to any good resources? You should be more careful. I'm not sure whether people regard you as friends. Zhang Luli was so angry that he was trembling all over. Have you said enough? When the two of them attacked her, although Chiao Mian was angry, she was not angry. But when she heard that they actually attacked Zhang Luli, her face instantly darkened, and her cold tone no longer contained the slightest politeness, and she said coldly, "Since you don't want to treat me as a friend, then everyone should stop being friends. Yes. I'm treating you to this meal, so I won't let you eat it. But I'm treating you to a friend. Since you have nothing to do with me, just leave here." After saying that, Chiao Mian called the waiter. Miss Jiao, do you need anything? Please give me your instructions. Before Jiao Mian and the others came over, the manager of the club received a notice that a distinguished guest was coming, and they must be entertained well. So the attitude of the waiter is extremely respectful. Well, Jiao Mian pointed at Bai Xiao and Zhang Yue, please take these two ladies out. Otherwise, I'm afraid they can't find their way out of the banquet hall, and it will be bad if they get lost soon. The waiter was stunned for a moment. Just now I saw a few people who seemed to be on good terms with each other, but now why? However, he was stunned for a second, and soon returned to normal. He smiled and said, okay, please don't worry, Miss Jiao. I will send your friend out right away. No, you are wrong. Miss Jiao. Jiao Mian corrected her seriously, word by word, they are not my friends. We just know each other, and our relationship is not good. Jiao Mian. Bai Xiao and Zhang Yue were humiliated in public, and their faces turned blue with anger. They gritted their teeth and said angrily, don't bully me too much. Why do you drive us away? Do you own this store? We can leave if we want to. You can stay if you want, you have nothing to do with it. Excuse me, ladies. The waiter finally noticed that these little girls seemed to be having a conflict. He didn't want to understand what the conflict was. Anyway, he only knew that Miss Jiao was an honored guest that they could not offend. As for other people, they have nothing to do with it. Not just anyone can come into our club. Before coming, everyone needs to make an appointment in advance to confirm their identity. If it weren't for Miss Jiao who brought you here, you wouldn't be able to enter here. Now, since Miss Jiao said that you are not her friends, then please leave here immediately. The waiter's words made Zhang Yue and Bai Xiao look extremely sad. Jiao Mian, you. Bai Xiao gritted his teeth, you actually humiliated us like this. Jiao Mian looked at her with cold eyes, it's not me who humiliates you, it's you yourself. Xiao, let's go. Zhang Yue knew that staying here would only make her more embarrassed. She looked at Jiao Mian with cold eyes, I will definitely pay back the humiliation I received here today. Thank you for this meal, let me I see your true face clearly. No wonder Shen Yuyu hates you so much. It turns out that you are not innocent at all. After saying that, she stood up and left. Jiao Mian, just wait. Bai Xiao also stood up angrily, if you bully your classmates like this, we will definitely expose your bad behavior and let everyone know how disgusting you are. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 104. Chapter 104, Why should I return what I gave away? The two of them walked out the door with livid faces. Wait. When they reached the door, Jiao Mian called out to them. Bai Xiao turned around and said fiercely, what else do you want to say? Jiao Mian curled her lips, looked down, fell on the bag in Bai Xiao's hand, and said lightly, you can leave your things behind. My boyfriend bought it because he thought you and I have a good relationship. I gave him a gift. You and I are no longer friends. Please return the things he gave me. When Bai Xiao and Zhang Yue left, they both took away the set of skincare products. Haha, I thought you were so noble. You kept saying something was wrong here and there, so how could you have the nerve to take away the things they gave you? Where has your backbone gone? Zhang Luli was so angry at the two of them that he was so angry that he would not miss this opportunity to ridicule them. The expressions of the two people who came to the door changed. Zhang Yue still had some backbone, and threw the bag to the ground with a cold face, give it back to you, I don't care. Bai Xiao was unwilling to pay it back. She said confidently, why should I return the things I gave away? If you give me the set of cosmetics, it belongs to me. As for what I want to do with it, that's all my business. Zhang Luli was shocked by her shamelessness. Even Chiao Mian felt that it was only today that she understood the two roommates who had lived with her for 3 years. After Bai Xiao finished speaking, he carried the bag and walked out of the box holding Zhang Yuwei's hand. Asterisk. Seeing the two people walking out of the box, Zhang Luli couldn't help but yell, "I didn't expect Bai Xiao to be so shameless. I never saw her as this kind of person before. And Zhang Yuwei, she has such a dark heart. I've been in the same dormitory with them for 3 years, but I don't understand them at all. I'm not the same." Chiao Mian curled her lips and laughed at herself. "I originally thought that even if I couldn't become good friends with them, we would at least be able to get along with each other. Now it seems that I was too naive." Should she thank Mo Yesi properly? After all, his meal allowed her to see two people clearly. Mian, don't be sad. You should be glad that you saw them clearly in time, and you don't need to waste time and emotion on them in the future. Yeah, I know. Chiao Mian wasn't sad, just a little disappointed. Just as Zhang Luli said, she should be lucky that she could see them clearly in time through this meal. Now, Zhang Luli looked at the table full of dishes and said with a pained expression, "How can the two of us finish eating so many dishes?" Chiao Mian also frowned. Compared to Zhang Luli, she was in more pain. After all, she is the one who is going to pay the bill later. Asterisk. With a large table of dishes, even if two people eat desperately, there is still a lot left. Finally, Chiao Mian called the waiter and packed away the untouched dishes. She felt a little embarrassed when she said she was packing. Those who can come to such a high-end place will definitely not take away the leftover dishes. She can guarantee that she will be the first. When the waiter heard that she wanted to pack, he was stunned for a moment, but then he said respectfully, "Okay, Miss Chiao, please wait a moment." After finishing packing, the two of them went to the counter to check out. The teller smiled and said, "Ms. Chiao, someone has already paid for you." Chiao Mian was stunned. "Have you paid the bill?" Happy weekend everyone. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 105. Chapter 105. Why do I suddenly have a sister-in-law? Yes. She was about to ask who paid the bill, but she immediately guessed that it was Mo Yesi who did it. "He said he was going to treat you tonight." Even though she guessed it was him, Chiao Mian still sent him a message, "Did you pay for the banquet?" Mo Yesi replied quickly, "Yes." It was indeed him. Chiao Mian was about to send another text message to ask him if he had eaten, when his phone called. She picked up. "Have you finished eating over there?" The man's deep magnetic voice came over. I don't know where he was, but Chiao Mian heard a little commotion on his side, and the laughter of men and women also came over. "Well, I just finished eating. Have you eaten?" "Not yet," Mo Yesi said. "A few little are playing crazy, and they can't even bother to eat. I guess they will just eat midnight snacks by then." Chiao Mian was stunned for a moment. Little brat. A few little who have played with me since childhood." As soon as Mo Yesi finished speaking, Chiao Mian heard another voice coming from the phone, a playful male voice, "Second brother, who are you talking to on the phone?" This voice was so gentle that I got goosebumps all over. Well, it couldn't be a woman, right? Mo Yesi, yeah. The man who just spoke seemed to be shocked, and said in an astonished tone, "Is it really a woman? Who is it? Do we brothers know each other?" Mo Yesi, your sister-in-law. Ahem, cough, cough. There was a violent cough, and the joking man seemed to be choked. He coughed for a while, and then he gasped, "Sister-in-law, sister-in-law. My brother, are you kidding me? You have been single for 10,000 years and have always regarded women as poison. Why do you suddenly have a sister-in-law? Are you sure the sister-in-law is alive? Is she a female? is she a living person that can be seen and touched, and not just a figment of your imagination? Mo yes, he sneered, I have a wife, and you are the one who has been single forever. Me, the man said harshly. Mo yes, he said disgustedly, go away and don't say dirty words next to me. Mian is still young, so don't lead her astray. Holy shit, it's so amazing, in my lifetime, even the second brother has a wife, and I no longer have any doubt that a sow can climb a tree. The man said something rude again. Chiao Mian, who heard the conversation between the two clearly. This man who says I hum on the left and I hum on the right is the little brat in Mo Yesi's mouth. Chiao Mian heard another rustling sound, then the sound of the door opening, and then the noise on the phone became much quieter. She guessed that Mo Yesi should be in a KTV or something like that. He must have been in the box with a bunch of friends just now, but now he went outside. A moment later, Mo Yesi's voice sounded again, the young man with 250 just now is Yan Shaoqing, the young master of the Yan family. He has always been so incompetent in his speech, so you don't need to pay attention to him. Chiao Mian's mouth twitched. Has anyone ever said that about his friends? I ask someone to prepare some small gifts for your friends. How about it? Do they like it? Chiao Mian was silent for a moment and lied, well, they like it quite a lot. They also asked me to convey their gratitude. Mo Yesi smiled and said, as long as you like it. Do you have any other activities at night? Chiao Mian looked at Zhang Luli, no, we plan to go back to school. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 106. Chapter 106. Did she really fall for money? So early, Mo Yesi was silent for a few seconds, and then said, why don't you bring your classmates and come over to play with us? Huh, Chiao Mian was stunned, want to play with you? I'm near the banquet hall now and will come to pick you up right away. After Mo Yesi finished speaking, he hung up the phone before Chiao Mian could respond. Chiao Mian just kept answering the phone, looking confused. She hasn't promised him yet. Zhang Luli looked at her expression and asked curiously, what's the matter? Chiao Mian looked at her, hesitated for a moment, and then said, your boyfriend said that he is near the banquet hall now and asked us to go and play with them. Do you go or not? Did my boyfriend call me just now? He said let us go over and play with them. So, the male is with his friend now. Go, Zhang Luli said with excitement, birds of a feather flock together, my male idol is so good, his friends must also be a bunch of top-notch handsome guys, right? Oh my, when I think about seeing so many eye-catching handsome guys later, I just wish I could spread my wings and fly over right away. Chiao Mian. Well, she was actually worried that Zhang Luli wouldn't like situations with too many strangers. It seems that she worried about it in vain. Sure enough, for Yanggu, appearance is justice. Asterisk. The two of them were waiting for Mo Yesi in the seating area at the front desk of the banquet hall. After waiting for a few minutes, Chiao Mian heard a familiar voice coming from above her head. She was a little surprised, but also a little surprised. Mian. Chiao Mian's brows suddenly wrinkled. She raised her head and saw a face she least wanted to see. The man is wearing a white shirt, black trousers, and a dark tie. His height of 1.183 meters makes him very tall and slender. His handsome and gentle appearance can attract the attention of the opposite sex. The cashier at the front desk looked at him frequently, with a bit of admiration in his eyes. Although Chiao Mian is very disgusted with Suzy now, she has to admit that Suzi's conditions in all aspects are excellent in the eyes of the opposite sex. Handsome looking, well-off family, young and promising, how many women wouldn't like such a man? In the past, Xiao Mian also liked it very much. But after learning about the troubles between him and Xiao Angzhen, she only felt disgusted with him. Especially last time, he chose to trust Xiao Angzhen, but after thinking that she was a vicious woman, she completely gave up on him. At that moment, she felt that she had been blind for the past 10 years. Otherwise, how could she have realized that Suzi was a until now? Mian, it's really you. Why are you here? Suzi looked at Xiao Mian's still bright and charming face, and frowned a little. The banquet court is not a place that ordinary people can enter and exit. Those who are not powerful and prominent people are not qualified to take a step here. With his own identity, Xiao Mian couldn't come here at all. So, the only possibility is that someone else brought her here. Suzi's face sank a little bit when he thought about the fact that he had seen her sitting in a Rolls-Royce before, and the rich old man Xiao Angzhen mentioned. Did she really fall for money? It's none of your business. Xiao Mian's eyes were cold, her tone was cold, and her whole body was filled with a coldness and alienation. Chapter 4 today, praise me. Carrot. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 107. Chapter 107 I, Suzi, am not someone who can't afford to spend money. Her attitude made Suzi frown even more. He looked at her with a disappointed and sad look, and said in a deep voice, Mian, we are not enemies. Even if we break up, you don't have to treat me like an enemy. I said, even if we are no longer lovers, in the future if you have any difficulties, you can still come to me. As long as I can help you, I will help you. Even if you hate me, you should not surrender. Hearing his last sentence, Xiao Mian frowned. Her eyes became colder and colder, and when she met Suzi's eyes full of disappointment, she couldn't help but sneered, am I willing to let myself down? Mr. Su, who are you? Do I know you very well? How much do you know about me? Just say I have fallen. Her cold and distant Mr. Su made Suzi's face look even more ugly. There was anger in his eyes. Then tell me, why are you here? Who brought you here? Also, who is the owner of the Rolls-Royce you sat in last time? Mian, are you really so stubborn? You would rather sell your body than ask me for help? Is it more difficult to talk to me than to let you sleep with those disgusting old men? Snapped. As soon as Suzi finished speaking, he received a slap on the face and 5 bright red fingerprints on his fair and handsome face. He covered his face, his eyes full of shock. It seemed like he couldn't believe that Xiao Mian would hit him. Xiao Mian no longer has any hope for Suzi. In her heart, she just thought that the Suzi in the past was dead. The person standing in front of her now was just a stranger who had nothing to do with her. But she was still disgusted. I was so disgusted that I wanted to vomit out last night's overnight meal. Suzi, you really make me feel sick. How blind did I have to be before I agreed to be with you? You make me feel that even if the relationship of those years was fed to a dog, it would be better than wasting it on a dog. You are 100 times, 1,000 times better. Xiao Mian was so angry that her whole body was shaking. This is the man who once said that he would love her for the rest of his life and would never let her down. He would protect her no matter what happened and would not let her suffer the slightest grievance or harm. All the things he promised her, he failed to do any of them. He was the one who failed her. He was also the one who hurt her and made her suffer so much. She just hates that she can't turn back time. Otherwise, even if all the men in the world died, she would not be with such a scumbag. Being slapped in the face in public, Suzi couldn't keep his face, and his face became gloomy. He covered one side of his face, The anger in his eyes was about to burst out, and he said with a sinister look, "Did you hit me because I guessed right? Chiao Mian, have you really fallen like this for money? That old man, how much money did the man give you, 10 million, 20 million, or 100 million? Does it mean that as long as he gives you more money, he can sleep with you? Tell me the price. Suzy, am not someone who can't afford to spend money." Chiao Mian looked at him in disbelief. This is the man she has known for 10 years? 10 years of relationship, in exchange for such an insult from him? Damn it, Suzy, you scumbag has the nerve to appear in front of Mian. Don't you feel your face is burning? Zhang Luli had a bad temper and couldn't stand it anymore. He pointed at Suzy's nose. He scolded, "You are shameless." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 108. Chapter 108. Zhang Luli must apologize. Hit his future sister-in-law for cheating on her, and did such a disgusting and shameless thing. Not only did she not feel any shame at all, she actually wanted to beat her up and throw dirty water on Mian. You are so shameless, does your mother know? You said that you have abalone and sea cucumber at home, but you still feel that you can't get enough of it. Why do you have to eat the feces in the latrine? Even if you cheat, can you not find someone with such a low standard? It's so annoying. Zhang Luli's words were very rough and he cursed loudly. Suzy's face became extremely gloomy. He was so angry that the veins on his forehead popped out. He gritted his teeth and said, "Zhang Luli, I want you to apologize for what you just said." Zhang Luli said disapprovingly, "Why should I apologize? Isn't what I said the truth?" Suzy was extremely angry, with threats in his eyes, and gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "Okay, if you don't apologize, then don't even think about leaving here." After he finished speaking, he took out his mobile phone and made a call. Soon, several bodyguards came over. Zhang Luli panicked a little when he saw this posture. She took a step back. "Suzy, what do you want to do?" "Apologize." Suzy was talking to her, but his eyes were directed at Chiao Mian. "Apologize to me for what you just said." "Damn it, Suzy, you are really a scumbag." Zhang Luli gritted his teeth and said harshly, "Do you dare to do this and not admit it? I have never seen a man as cowardly as you. I don't know whether to live or die." When he heard Zhang Luli curse scum, Suzy's eyes were filled with gloom, and he raised his hand and hit her in the face. As the eldest son of the Su family, he grew up pampered, and no one had ever dared to scold him like this. This Zhang Luli is lawless just because he is Chiao Mian's classmate. He will teach her a lesson today. "Suzy, how dare you?" Seeing this, Chiao Mian stepped forward to block Zhang Luli. She looked at Suzy with cold eyes and said coldly, "The dignified eldest young master of the Su family actually attacked a man in public. It's really not shameful for you to do something to a woman." Suzy saw her coming to stop him, and his gloomy eyes narrowed. She was the one who made the rude remarks first. "If I didn't teach her a lesson today, she wouldn't know how high the sky is." Why was she so rude? Chiao Mian's eyes were full of ridicule. She just told the truth. "I told her these things. If you think she should be taught a lesson, then do you also want to teach me a lesson?" Suzy pursed her lips and took her hand back. His face was still ugly, and his voice was cold. Mian, I won't do anything to you. But Zhang Luli must apologize." "I won't apologize to you." Zhang Luli clenched his fists. "Why should I apologize to you, a scumbag? Mian has been with you for so many years, and you not only cheated on her and betrayed her, but now you are also insulting her like this. Suzy, you are not a human being at all. If you want to do anything to me, just come over. Anyway, the morals of a scumbag like you have been eaten by dogs. It's nothing to hit someone for cheating, right? It's not a common thing for you." Zhang Luli's voice was very loud. The cashier at the front desk and some customers passing by heard it. When everyone heard the word cheating, they all turned their inquiring eyes to Suzy. Someone is whispering, "Is this the eldest young master of the Su family? Is what that girl said true? He cheated on her." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 109. Chapter 109, My God, you came just in time. I heard that the eldest young master of the Su family has a fiancée. Last time at the Su family's dinner, he brought that girl with him. Well, that's right, it's that pretty little girl over there. Is she that little girl? She's very pretty. She has such a beautiful fiancé, and yet she's cheating on her. Men, you know, no matter how beautiful you are, house flowers are not as fragrant as wild flowers. The rabbit hasn't eaten the grass on the edge of the nest yet. Even if you want to find a woman outside, you shouldn't look for your future sister-in-law. This is a bit too much. A voice of discussion reached Suzy's ears. His face became darker and darker, his eyes were full of gloom, and his fists clenched. Okay, since you refuse to apologize, then don't blame me for being rude. After he finished speaking, he ordered the bodyguards to go over and arrest Zhang Luli. Suzy, as long as I'm here, I won't let you touch Luo Luo. Qiao Mian spread her arms and stood in front of Zhang Luli. Suzy frowned and said coldly, Mian, I don't want to hurt you. This matter has nothing to do with you, so get out of the way. Impossible, Qiao Mian gritted her teeth and said, if you want to capture Luo Luo, then just capture me too. Don't force me, get out of the way. Suzy walked over with a sullen face, reaching out to pull Qiao Mian over. However, before his hand touched Qiao Mian, he heard a cold and dangerous voice coming from behind, Young Master Su is so powerful. I just don't know if you can bear the consequences after using this power. This voice. Qiao Mian raised her head suddenly. Her heartbeat accelerated instantly when she saw the cold figure that was getting clearer and clearer in her sight from far to near, and getting closer and closer to her. As he got closer, his heart beat faster and faster. Wow, it's my boyfriend here. Zhang Luli looked even more joyful and excited than Qiao Mian, as if he had seen a savior. His eyes suddenly lit up. Before anyone else could react, she jumped out from behind Qiao Mian. Then, ran towards Mo Yesi with excitement on his face. Goddess, you came just in time. If you had come a minute later, Mian and I would have been bullied by scum. You are so handsome when you appear, I want to give you 100 points. Looking at Zhang Luli, who suddenly jumped in front of him, Mo Yesi was stunned for a moment. When she approached him, he took a step back out of habit. Even though this woman is Qiao Mian's good friend, he still habitually rejects her approach. Zhang Luli didn't care about his avoidance. She pointed at Suzy angrily, Mr. God, you came just in time. This shameless man wants to bully Mian and me. You must help us vent our anger. Mo Yesi didn't say anything. He walked towards Qiao Mian step by step. After walking to her side, he stopped. The man lowered his head and looked at her with lowered eyes. His voice was always cold, but it was a little more gentle than when facing others. Have you been bullied? Qiao Mian looked at him blankly. That fast-beating heart slowly calmed down when he walked in front of her. She was stunned for a few seconds before finally finding her voice. Why did you come so fast? It must have been less than 10 minutes since the phone call just now. Mo Yesi chuckled lightly and reached out to tuck a strand of hair that covered her eyebrows behind her ear. Didn't I say that I was near the banquet court? Besides, I would certainly be a little anxious when I came to see you. If I hadn't been here, there are several red lights on the road, I will arrive earlier. There is another chapter to be updated in the morning. Please vote for recommendation and 5-star praise, okay. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 110. Chapter 110. Chapter 112. Even breathing has become uncomfortable. Mo Yesi reached out and half-wrapped Xiao Mian into his arms, wrapped one arm possessively around her waist, raised his eyes, glanced at him lightly, and said in a cold tone, "This sentence should be changed by me. Come and ask. Baby, who is he? Was he the one who bullied you just now?" Xiao Mian also raised her head, looked at Suzy with cold eyes and said, "You don't need to know about an unimportant person." Suzy was stunned for a moment, and then his face became so gloomy that he could shed tears. He looked at Mo Yesi with eyes full of hostility, and gritted his teeth and said, "I am Mian's fiancé, and he and I. Mr. Su, I must remind you that you and I have nothing to do with each other anymore." Xiao Mian interrupted him with a cold face, "We have terminated our engagement a long time ago. Please make this clear and don't talk nonsense. It ruined my reputation." Suzy looked at her eyes that were full of indifference, alienation, and even a hint of disgust, and his heart suddenly felt a little painful. He didn't know why, but he suddenly felt extremely uncomfortable. It felt like there was something blocked in my heart, and I felt extremely stuffy and uncomfortable. Even though I had guessed that there might be another man around Xiao Mian before, but I didn't see it with my own eyes, my heart wasn't as blocked as it is now. Now that they have seen it with their own eyes, the other person is not only not the old man they guessed, but also an extremely young and handsome man. He and Xiao Mian stand together, and they look so well matched. Suzy feels like a thorn in his heart. Even breathing became uncomfortable. Mian, what is your relationship with him? Was he the Rolls-Royce owner last time? Suzy asked angrily. She actually followed another man. They broke up less than a week ago, and she was already with another man. He didn't believe she could change her mind so quickly. They have been together for so many years, and she has always only had eyes for him. She loved him deeply, and for him, she changed from a hothouse girl who didn't touch the sun and didn't know how to do anything, to a virtuous and good woman who could cook a table of good dishes and wash clothes and mop the floor. She said personally that because she loved him, she was happy when she did these things for him. For him, she was willing to change herself. She also said that she, Xiao Mian, would only like a man named Suzy in her life. He will only marry Suzy as his bride. He remembered clearly what she said. Haven't forgotten a word. He never believed that she would fall in love with someone else so quickly when she loved him so much. She was looking for this man just to make him angry. Or maybe, I want to forget him as soon as possible through this man. Don't they all say that the fastest way to forget someone is to quickly start a new relationship? The more she did this, the more it proved that she still loved him and could not forget him at all. Thinking about it, Suzy felt a little more comfortable. It's none of your business. Who are you? Why do you have the nerve to question Mian in such a tone? Mo Yesi and Xiao Mian had yet to say anything, but Zhang Luli, who was extremely displeased with Suzy, became angry. Came over. With Mo Yesi here, she was even more fearless. She pointed at Suzy's nose and cursed mercilessly, "You are a cheating man, do you have the right to ask this? Mian even said to break up with you. Now, you are just strangers. Does her matter have anything to do with you? I will never show mercy when I abuse Suja." End of this chapter.